At this time, I would like to call this meeting to order. Please stand and salute the flag.
We move it for pictures.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mrs. Borowski, will you please do the roll call?
Mr. Gackle.
Here.
Mrs. Poser. Here. Dr. Laughlin. Here. Mr. Merle L. Music.
Here.
Mr. Petracca.
Here.
Mr. Repko.
Here.
Mr. Tillman.
Here.
Mr. Urban.
Here.
And Mr. Merle D. Music.
Here. Moving forward, I'd like to hand the meeting over to Mr. Naples for the solicitor's report and the statement about executive session.
We had an executive session beginning at approximately 6:15 through a little bit after 7. The matters discussed in the executive session under negotiations, we discussed our ICIU food service, custodian, and maintenance, and we also had a brief discussion of negotiations with our teachers. Under personnel, we discussed the sabbatical leave for an employee. We also discussed parks and rec appointment, a member from the district. We had an explanation of why the WIU appointment was going to be done in 2 separate votes for Mr. Perlman. And then under legal, we discussed a tax penalty relief request. And that was the extent of the executive session. And no report under solicitor's report, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Naples. Moving forward is education and planning. Mr. Repko?
Yes, Mr. President, Mr. Mainstreet, enrollment report.
Yes, the enrollment report is attached. If you have any questions, please let me know. Thank you.
And our student report by Alexis and Maddie.
Regarding our senior high school, for the academics, January 11th, multiple students will participate in the Young Engineers Program graduation ceremony. On the 15th will be an 80-day for staff, and on the 16th will be a 2-hour late start. Regarding the arts, through January 11th through the 13th, the PMA District 1 East Bay competition will take place. For our athletics, January 3rd, the boys had their wrestling senior night, and they were victorious over Hempfield. On the 4th, the girls had their basketball senior night, and were victorious over Connellsville. Today, January 9th, is the girls' wrestling senior night, and the first ever girls' wrestling match at Greater Latrobe Senior High School. On the 18th, the boys' hockey team will have their senior night at Nevin area at 6:45 p.m. On the 19th, there will be a fall sports parade of champions and winter sports activities pep rally. On the 25th, girls and boys swimming team will have their senior night at 5:30 p.m. And on January 31st, girls and boys bowling senior night will be at Lincoln Lakes at 4:15 p.m. 3 student athlete football players, Alex Tash, John Wetzel, and Jaton Williams, were all first team All-State selections. We've had multiple career future readiness opportunities. On January 4th, all grade 10 students participated in the Smart Futures presentation and overview, and on the 5th, grade 9 students participated in their Smart Futures overview. Smart Futures is a newly implemented career future readiness platform that will serve as a hub for all students as they develop and personalize their pathways throughout high school. On the 23rd, there will be a guest speaker for a career future readiness series opportunity during Greater Latrobe time. And on January 31st, all grade 9 students tour EWCTC to learn more about career pathways options. On January 17th, the student-led Lighthouse team will lead the high school faculty meeting while continuing working with the staff to develop interest-based learning opportunities in the near-distant future. In the Greater Latrobe High School, on January 17th, there will be the Top Cats luncheon. 7 teachers nominated 7 students to be their top cat. The teacher, student, and parents will join for luncheon in honor of the Top Cats. I'll hand it off to Maddie, who will be reporting on the elementary schools. Regarding LES, on January 24th, grade 6 has their side-by-side band here at the high school. And January 25th, LES will have their skate night at Latrobe Roller Rink. Kindergartners at LES are currently beginning project-based learning, and they're learning about animals and their habitats. Moving to Mountain View, kindergartners are preparing for their 100th day school celebration. They will get to do stations and involve the number 100 in activities throughout the day. In music at Mountain View, 4th graders are beginning their ukulele unit, and 3rd graders are beginning the recorder unit in preparation for the recorder concert. And finally, moving to Bagley, this morning they have their Caring Cats breakfast. On January 11th, they have their skate night at the Latrobe Roller Rink. On January 24th, grade 6 has their side-by-side band also here at the high school. And finally, Bagley kindergartners are also preparing for their 100th day celebrations, which includes a parade around the school, so they show off their 100th day costumes. They are also participating in LEAP learning, which stands for Learning Through Active Play. Through this, they have been using nature to learn. That's all I have. Are there any questions? Thank you.
Thank you, ladies. Next week's agenda, we're going to ask for approval of 2 students for a new story. Agenda attachments are there, and approved tuition students for 2023-2024 school year. That's all I have, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Repko. For finance, next week, approve the treasurer's report as attached. Then approval of payment of bills as attached, and the IRS mileage rate for the year of 2024, which is 67 cents per mile, and the information is attached. The next finance committee's meeting minutes are from December 5th are also attached. The next finance committee meeting will be Tuesday, February 13th at 5:30 in the senior high school library. Moving into facility operations and planning, Mr. Merle, music.
Thank you, Mr. President. There will be an agenda item next week to approve the bulk road salt purchase agreement between the Greater Latrobe School District and the City of Latrobe and the Unity Township, and that is attached to the board's agenda. We also have another agenda item, which is to approve the proposal for a fire alarm main control panel upgrades, repairs at Bagley and Mountain View Elementary Schools with the Johnson Controls Fire Protection Limited Partnership, and that's attached to the board's agenda. And another attachment of the board's agenda is the Facilities, Operations, and Planning Committee meeting minutes from January 4th. And the next Facilities, Operations, Planning Committee meeting will be on Thursday, February 8th, and that will be at 4:30 p.m. at the administration.
Thank you, Mr. Music. Student activities and recreation, Mr. Petrarca.
Nothing to report.
Thank you. Community relations, Mr. Irving.
I approve the appointment of the Greater Latrobe Parks and Recreation Commission for a 3-year term. Table from the regular board meeting December 19, 2023. Greater Latrobe Parks and Recreation Commission meeting minutes November 16, 2023. The attachment. Next, Greater Latrobe Parks and Recreation Commission meeting Thursday, January 18, 2024 at 4:30 p.m. Unity Township Municipal Building.
Thank you, Mr. Irving. Moving into the Westmoreland Intermediate meeting, Mr. Tillman.
Yes, thank you. So next week we'll be making 2 motions. One will be to appoint myself, Bradley Toman, to fill the Greater Latrobe School Board representative vacancy to the Westmoreland Intermediate Unit. This will be fulfilling the current term, which is January 20th, 2024, through the term ending date of June 30th, 2024. The next motion with regard to the WIU will be to nominate myself, Bradley Toman, to fill the Greater Latrobe School Board position for the following term for the Westmoreland Intermediate Unit, and that will be commencing July 1st, 2024, ending on June 30th, 2027. And then for informational purposes, the WIU election information will be forthcoming, with packets being mailed by April 10th, to the due date of June 3rd.
It is important that you hold on to that information when you get it, because the election is important. So, and we'll discuss that down the road, but don't vote for judgment.
And then finally, as a reminder, the next WIU committee meeting will be then January 23rd, 2024 at 7 p.m. in the Fred Rogers Room at the WIU.
Thank you, Mr. Toman. Transportation, Mr. Marwell, music.
No report this evening.
Thank you. Moving into the EWCTC Joint Operating Committee, Mrs. Kozar.
Thank you. Next week, we will recognize our Student of the Month for November and December from EWCTC. And it's actually a good thing because Mary's at the girls' wrestling senior night right now. And we will, there'll be an attachment to your, there is an attachment to your agenda on the previous month's meeting from December 6th. And our next operating committee meeting will be January 24th at 7 p.m. at WCTC. And moving into board policy, I have no report. That completes my reports, Mr.
Thank you. Thank you, Mrs. Kozar. For technology, there is no report. And moving into the superintendent's recommendation, Mr. Grunke.
Next week, there'll be 2 resignations to be approved, and one is for the purposes of retirement. Mr. Maines has been busy interviewing substitute teachers, so we have a list of substitutes to be hired next week as well. Also, a support personnel, classified personal care assistant to be approved next week, and a sabbatical leave for one of our employees. In other business, we do have an Act 80 day for staff on Monday, no school for students, a 2-hour late start on Tuesday the 16th for grading purposes. You'll see that we have dates listed for kindergarten registration and kindergarten parent information night. Yes, it's January, we're already talking about kindergarten and the class of 68 or whatever they are. I don't know, I said the other day, no, it is. I was doing my son's shirt the other day, and it said 2030 on the back, and I didn't know where time was, so 2036, I guess it would be, right? 2037, the class of 2037. Our board meetings are listed. We do have our regular meeting next Tuesday, and then the dates are listed for our February meetings as well. Before I conclude my report, Mr. President, just a few did-you-knows. First of all, Maddie, I was at Caring Cats today at Bagley, and I was accosted by a first grader who wanted to know why I didn't have a 2-hour delay this morning. Okay?
He started me young again.
That's heavy stuff, okay? But maybe he might be happy tomorrow morning. Okay, more to come there, all right? But just a few did-you-knows. January is School Director Recognition Month, and I'm sitting here with 9 of the 4,500 school directors in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. There are only 4,500, 500 school districts, 9 each. All school directors are obviously elected to 4-year terms. You're elected in a 5-member, 4-member rotation. That's to ensure consistency across the board. Now, this year was a unique year because Dr. Laughlin filled Mr. Palmer's term right after he was elected, so that's why we had 6 this year and not 5. All board members serve as volunteers without pay. So for our new board members, there's no pay involved. Just getting that out there. 57% of school directors in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania are male. The other 43% are female. They are typically between 45 and 54 years of age. They are typically married. They average 2 children each who attend public schools. You also, according to PSBA, volunteer between 6 and 10 hours a month in your duties as school directors. They're lying to you. It's more than that. What else did I want to say? 60% of all school districts involve students at their board meetings. So we are in that 60%. 41% of school directors attended the schools in the district where they serve. 94% of our school directors have children who attended the schools that they are serving. For our 9 board members, there was a gift at your chair tonight for you as a token of our appreciation for some of you for the time that you've served, and for our 4 new board members for the time you're about to serve, okay, for your sentence. But, you know, it's not an easy job being a board member, as you are elected to represent an entire district full of taxpayers and students, and the burden that you have is significant. So on behalf of the superintendent of schools, our administrative staff, our teachers, our support staff, thank you for making the commitment to our kids and putting yourself in a spot where you can do tremendous things for our community. So thank you very much. Mr. President,
Thank you, Mr.
that concludes my report.
Thank you. I'm moving for the adjournment of the art. I move for adjournment, so meeting adjourned.